Hi, this is Rachelle with Journal Life's Journey, and I am back to create another journal cover. This time I am using packaging from Amazon, one of those padded envelopes, and I have some packaging from Dollar Tree that I cut up and I'm going to use to reinforce the spine. I'm using Eileen's tacky glue this time for this part of this, and I'm using a paper pad from Michael's called Gilded Berry. So this is a Christmas journal, junk journal, however you want to call it. But I'm not using traditional red and green. I'm using the berry and green. That's my thing this Christmas, so that's what I'm going with. So I added the piece of packaging from the Dollar Tree packaging to create a spine for this. Then I went through my fabric stash and found a fabric that would work with the paper pad, and I just tore off a piece to use. And I'm going to add some cotton batting because I want this to be a nice soft cover, but I did want it to have more of a structured spine. So this Eileen's tacky glue is kind of on its last leg, so I'm trying to use it up as quickly as possible. And I put in my glue container. I'm adding some water to water it down a little bit so that I can spread it a little easier onto the Amazon packaging. And I just need it to hold well enough to hold the batting in place because I am going to be stitching this. Now, initially when I started this with the packaging, I was going to just do a single signature journal, but I decided to go ahead and do multiple signatures. So that is why I added the spine and the reinforcement. So I'm generously spreading the glue, placing down my batting, and I did reinforce both sides of the packaging. Here I am just trimming it up. So now that the batting is on, I'm attempting to add glue to this. It's not going very well, but I'm just adding a little glue here and there. Again, I just need this to hold the fabric in place long enough for me to stitch it, and just so that there won't be fabric puckers on the cover. With me adding glue this way, it took a little longer for it to dry, but the glue didn't seep through like it normally would do with other glues. So I was happy with the result, even though it took a little longer to dry. So here I'm just folding over the excess to see how that's going to work. Marking my top and bottom, front and back. This fabric is a bit thin, so I think I can do the corners folded over like this and not have too much bulk in the corners and still have nice clean corners. It's always a tough decision on how to treat corners when I'm working with fabric because it can get a little bulky in the covers. Paper is easy for me to do corners with paper, but fabric is still a challenge for me. And this was a spur of the moment project. I don't even know what inspired it. Something inspired it, but I just came into Craft Lab and said, okay, I wasn't going to make a Christmas journal, but now I'm going to make a Christmas journal, but I'm going to use this paper pad. I have so many paper pads. I am attempting to work my way through them over time and use them up. So I'm again adding the glue liberally to the ends and folding that fabric over, making sure that I have nice clean corners. It's also really satisfying to use the packaging that would have gone in the recycle bin or the trash to make something that can be used. I have a piece of cotton fabric here that I'm also going to use to reinforce the spine. I want it to be a little bit longer than the height of the book so that I can have some frayed edges hanging over top and bottom. I'm going to glue that in place. And I'm just adjusting and making sure I'm going to have that frayed edge overhang at the top and the bottom, and pressing that glue in really well. So this is the paper pad that I'll be using. And I'm just choosing what papers I'm going to use for the end papers. I decided on this forest green snowflake page, has a creamy colored background. And I'm just marking where I need to trim it. So I trimmed it down and I'm back. Dry fitting to make sure that everything's going to work. It's going to still fold properly. And I'll just stitch along that edge. So I'm using my Scotch Create glue to glue it in place. So I'm just using the glue stick because I will be coming back around and stitching, of course. So it's just making sure that everything is pressed down well. I've gone and stitched the cover. So this is what it's looking like. So now I'm going to add eyelets for the closure. I'm just finding the center of the front and back cover, and I'm using the white Jelly Roll pen to mark the fabric so that I can see where I put my mark. I'm using the Temu eyelets, which I really like. If you've seen the fall journal videos where I use the eyelets, I did mention how much I like them. So I'm using the eyelet setter from We Are Memory Keepers to punch a hole at the top of the journal, at the top of the spine, where I'm going to add an eyelet. That way I can add charms or a tassel or whatever I like to the journal. So I'm setting the eyelet there, and then I'm going to set the eyelets on the front and back cover so that I can string something through to make a closure. Usually I try to cut out a lot of the just mundane things that I do when I'm creating. If you want me to leave everything in, let me know. If you like me cutting some of that out, let me know. Let me know what you prefer in the comments below. So for this video, I'm leaving in quite a few of the mundane, slow-paced things so that you can see all of the details, but I don't know if you want to see that every time. So yes, please let me know. Right, so I already put together 3 signatures, and we'll talk more about the signatures in another video. But for now, I'm figuring out how I want to treat the inside, front, and back covers. So I have this scrap left over, and I'm going to use that to make a gusseted pocket. So I'm scoring 1/2 inch on 3 sides, and I will come back and score a 1/2 inch on that top edge, because I want the top edge of that pocket to be a little more sturdy. Plus, I felt like they were a little deep. So by folding over that top edge a 1/2 inch, that took some of that depth away, and it also reinforced the top edge. And I am going to stitch these pockets as well. So here I'd already scored that top edge and I'm folding it over and gluing it down. And dry fitting to see how that looks. So I've taken it to the sewing machine and stitched around the pockets. So now I'm going to go ahead and glue these to the inside cover. So I'm gluing the bottom flap to the 2 side flaps first. And I'm using Fabri-Tac, a little heavier glue, to glue the pocket in place. So the pockets are down. And this is what it looks like. I'm happy with it. It's nice and soft and squishy, but it still has a structured look. So now it's just time to fill this up and decorate it. I have the 3 signatures ready to go, ready to be stitched, embellished, and decorated, and added to the journal. So let me know what you think in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll holler at y'all next time. Bye.